Haters, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Les doy la bienvenida nuevamente aquí al canal, a su canal de El Hater. Espero que se encuentren muy bien. En esta ocasión tenemos la fortuna de hablar con dos de los miembros de una banda de reciente creación, se podría decir. Tengo aquí el honor de hablar con Benjamin Burton y Ryan Moon, quienes son los guitarristas líderes de la banda Colony Drop, que es oriunda de Seattle, Washington, nuestros vecinos en Estados Unidos. Es una banda que, pues se puede decir que es crossover thrash metal, y quienes van a lanzar su primera producción discográfica el viernes 25 de agosto, el cual lleva por título Brace for Impact a través del sello Nameless Grave Records. Ya hice una reseña sobre este trabajo, así que chequenla para que puedan estar al tanto, y cuando salga el lanzamiento, definitivamente deben escuchar este trabajo. So, Ben, Ryan, welcome to The Hater. How are you?
Good, thanks for having us.
Doing great, thank you.
That's very great to hear. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for being so open to speak with me in such a short notice. But our friends on what's the name of the PR company?
Earsplit.
Earsplit. Dave from Earsplit. Thanks, shout out to you. Made it happen. So if you are okay, we jump into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, my first question to you is, which record or song do you wish you have created? This question was asked by the previous band on this segment, called Flesh. Is a heavy metal band with a little doom sound. So that's the question. Which record or song do you wish you had created?
Painkiller.
Painkiller?
Painkiller. I just wish that's that I wish. Well, let's just say that Painkiller is the record that I feel like is what's driven me the most in the writing for this band and inspired me the most. And I think it's just an amazing achievement of heavy metal, but also great melodies, great, dual leads, great vocals, and kind of this iconic sound that really can't be replicated ever again. So really anything by Judas Priest, but Painkiller is the things to mind. So.
Agreed. Ryan?
That's tricky. I would probably say it was Jailbrake by Thin Lizzy.
Wow.
Because that's my I wish I could go back in time and be one of the many guitar players that got kicked out of Thin Lizzy over the years. But that's to me, that's like the record when I think about like how I play guitar and kind of like where my brain goes for writing and arranging, and specifically being in a 2-guitar band. That's my big one. So
yeah, because it's pretty evident that your sound, the sound of you, is rooted in the very early stages of heavy metal, the classics, the hard rock, which eventually became heavy metal. It's so melodic with a lot of feeling, guts. The melodies are intoxicating, if I can say so. And I can see why you choose Painkiller and you choose. Oh my God, these records are so, well, they seem so old, but not so much.
I mean, Jailbreak's probably, that came out in 1974. What's that, like almost
48 years, I think.
Yeah,
right?
almost
Yeah,
15
exactly.
years.
That's almost 50. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, 50s is the new 40s, and 40s is the new 20s. So
actually, wait, when did Painkiller come out? Did it come out in
90 or something? I think 90.
It's older than me, so yeah, it is old.
yeah, but almost all the music that metal has here are from times and times before we were even planned, not born, planned. But interesting choices, and Painkiller, Jailbrake, such a good albums, classics. I can I can relate to that. Well, the next question for you is this one. More and more often, bands with very seasoned members are being born. I mean, some years ago, it seems it was almost exclusively for the lads to create new projects with fresh and innovative sounds. What do you guys think is the cause for this?
Could you repeat that question one more time?
Yeah.
First part.
What do you think? What do you guys think are the reasons? The reasons the more and more often bands with seasoned members or older members than before are being born, because some years ago it seemed like it was almost exclusively for the young people to create new projects, the lads basically, with fresh and innovative sounds. And more often the bands seems to have members that are not teenagers. I mean, in their 30s, 40s, and even older. And that's pretty cool, because I have heard some bands with members that are in their 40s, in their 50s, and they just are blowing my mind. What do you think are the reasons? Because now it's more possible than older people are creating new projects that sound so fresh, that are so good.
So I guess one thing I think is that, you know, the genre of metal, we can kind of trace its roots. And we go back to the time where maybe we're in the 70s and the 80s, where bands are making music that starts to become heavy metal and then branches off into different genres. But a lot of those people are still around, you know, and then the people who were young then, who experienced it for the first time and were kind of the trailblazers of the genre, they still, you know, become a part of the, you know, the music as time goes on. And so you get more series of generations enjoying metal. And kind of, you know, I'm not sure, I mean, that's, I think, why, but I'm thinking back to, we got to play with DRI last October, and that was a really cool show because it was DRI's 40th anniversary, you know, wow, 40th anniversary tour. They invented the crossover thrash. And the one thing that really impressed me about that show is when DRI was playing, I swear I saw dads with their sons moshing to DRI, and I couldn't imagine, like, it was such an amazing kind of beautiful moment where we're starting to go full circle, maybe a full generations of people who enjoy metal and who pass it on to their kids and who share it. We even played with a band that the son was the vocalist and the dad was the bass player, and they were like a great band.
Who was that?
That was Twin Void from Spokane.
Cool.
Yeah. So like, it's just kind of, I think maybe the natural, you know, you could say, result of metal continuing to exist and have a passionate fan base, and that metal fans have now kind of, many of them are now parent age, grandparent age, and they're it's also a testament to the genre that people of all generations can enjoy it. And even in our band, one of our members is in their mid, you know, 40s, so like we have a multi-generational band ourselves. So I think it's could be just a testament to the strength of the music, and that it captures the, you know, inspires generations to play it.
I also think people are like more youthful into their age now too. So, you know, just because I didn't really feel like comfortable, maybe almost, or like energized in the way that I do now until I was probably in my late 20s to do all the projects that I'm doing.
Wow.
Maybe it's something with like social climate or just like stability or being told, you know, maybe our generations are getting older and having more rebellious phases.
We have time to be rebellious more times in life.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I remember actually distinctly thinking that as a kid. I was like, I'm gonna get more punk as I get older. I thought about that as I've gotten old. I'm like, I'm getting more punk, and I want to, like, you know, do more bands or do more things of that nature.
Yeah, man, that's true. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of what it was supposed to happen.
It's supposed to grow out of it, right?
Yeah,
No, we grew into it, and I just seem to like it more and more as time goes on.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel like there was a time in my life where I was taking it for granted, especially in my 20s. And then as I start to age and start to get into my 30s, I'm like, oh man, I need to enjoy my life and put something out there that I actually care about and try to live that dream. Really try to go for it. So like this band has been that opportunity for me.
yeah. Well, great responses, guys. I can understand totally what are you saying, and I think the people will relate to this kind of answers. Are very so true, so so plain. There's nothing to argue about this. It's just right. The next question I got for you guys is, judging by the name of the band, album title, and the title for the opening track, I think you guys are fans of Mobile Suit Gundam. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Are all the members of the band anime and sci-fi enthusiasts?
To varying degrees, but
Yeah.
me, Ryan, and Joe, the vocalist, are just probably all in on the anime and sci-fi. Like,
Okay.
we're lifers. We're lifer, nerdy otaku, whatever you call it.
Otakus.
Yeah, and then but our bassist Ari also just loves sci-fi comics as well, and then Eric is also.
He grew up watching the cartoons. He's like a Macross and like.
Oh yeah, he grew up watching Robotech and Star Blazers and kind of like early generation of like sci-fi anime that was being brought, and then of course Eric is kind of our how do I put it? He kind of brings us down to earth a little bit. He's our nature man. I don't know how to put it. He has an appreciation for sci-fi, and he always he'll definitely enjoy our recommendations. But the big nerds are the three of us. So, yeah.
Proud to be.
Proud nerds.
It's
That's
just
great.
cool. It's just like a cool thing, and it's like I don't know. It's funny because I think it's kind of the nerd fandom, or just like anything having to do with anime or comic books or anything, is really taken off and like made itself available to be talked about in less of a taboo or kind of like a frowned upon way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think we are living in times where, well, people are all open to this kind of personality, to this kind of taste, and they can access to the information where they can say, oh, this is about, I don't know, this subject or another, and they can relate, they can understand the eagerness of some people to orbitate towards those how can I say it, those topics, maybe. And people are more open to accept this kind of art, influenced by that kind of art that maybe in the 90s, even 80s, was a little weird for almost everybody, don't you think?
It sure was. And I think it's great. I think it's great that like we're more people are more okay with all of us enjoying those so-called formerly nerdy things. It makes a great community of fans and enjoy.
More people show up to actually say that, like, oh cool, you guys are a Gundam themed band.
Yeah. So we had one show, I think we had two people come up to us. One person said they found out about us because one night they were trying to they just had like the urge to figure out like what was the like actual explosive radius of the actual colony drop in Gundam, and then our band came up, and then that's how they found out about us, which is like my dream.
One was researching the show and found us.
Yeah, they found us researching something about Gundam. And then another person, sometimes we'll play a little clip from about Gundam on our shows. And some other person came up to us and like knew the name of the voice actor from that clip and stuff. So it's like, it's such a pleasure to us to see that there's just other people that are really enjoying that and are really getting a kick out of it when we put that in our music and our live show.
Cool, man. That's such a fun story. Cool, very cool, man. I have another one for you. Well, social issues are a main theme in the lyrics of your songs. Can you tell us about a situation when you, as a band, as a collective, went together that inspired you to write songs, a song like The Guillotine?
Well,
I mean,
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, as a unit, I would say, I mean, most of the lyrical content does come from Joseph, our vocalist. That particular song, I think, is very driven kind of from his experiences working in the tech world, I think, and just kind of the areas that we experience, because Seattle is a place with a huge wealth disparity and kind of economic gap, I think. So the guillotine is about kind of this looming corporate overlord we have around us at all times. And I don't know, that's more of a Joe question. He is our guy who does all the lyrics.
Yeah, yes, it is a joke.
Yeah,
But
that happens very often.
I think we do share the feeling that there's a lot of inequality, and it's something that makes us angry, and then we channel that in our music and try to sort of, through that music, explore that feeling, let it out, and then hopefully that turns into some real energy that can change. So.
Yeah, because I mean, all of your lyrics are great actually, but songs like that one,
yeah,
it make me just wanted to get out and break something and
yeah,
get in a fight with a police or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that song was also written during a time when we were having lots of riots and protests and stuff during 2020, during our shutdown and everything. And
Okay.
There are a good few of us who are very politically active and involved in some of that stuff. So,
and music is a great way to get involved in that kind of situations and that kind of tendencies, if you want to look at it like that. And I think one can get out the anger, the desperation, the anxiety with art, and you are doing it very, very, very well. Well, I have another question for you guys. And when you were kids, did you always wanted to be musicians? What did your family wanted you to be as an adult?
So, I guess I'll go. My dad was a musician. He played like prog rock bands or kind of soft rock bands. Boston is his favorite band, so I always grew up here in Boston and Kansas all the time in my house. Yeah, in the 80s, I think 70s and 80s, he was living in around Santa Cruz, I think, playing in a band and stuff. His last show was opening for Dokken.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Nothing.
That was his last show with that band. So music was a part of my life. Early on, my dad encouraged us to and my big sister to play music. And so I started playing drums when I was around 10. Well, he was a guitarist, and he always had guitars and amps around. He always had a PV amp around. And there was just a nice little PV combo. And I remember one time the first time he let me play it, he had the gain up. And I heard the distortion, and I just loved the noise of the distortion. And I was like, Dad, how do you do that? And he's like, I'm not going to show you. You need to learn chords. And I was like, oh man. And so I got really bored learning chords because I was a little kid, and I just wanted to hear the distortion. And that's all that mattered to me. What did my parents want from me? I don't know. They just wanted me to be a healthy person. They didn't force me to do any path, and they encouraged my music. Although they didn't how do I put it? They never really because we got screaming and they were boomers, they're like, yeah, I like the guitars, but I'm not sure about those vocals. I don't know what they're saying. It's okay. I appreciate the support, So, I had a musical family, so it was okay that I was playing music.
And you always wanted to be a musician.
Yeah, I just was driven to do it. But I stepped away from playing music in my 20s because I was studying. And I found really when I moved here to Seattle and I started playing with a small group with Joseph, our singer, And then Ryan would join that shortly. It kind of reminded me that like I needed it in my life and that I shouldn't have let it go. And so that kind of translated into this band. It was kind of my like determination to make sure that I make music a priority in my life again. So
Terrific, man. Terrific. Lucky you. You can dedicate it to this. What about you, Ryan?
I come from a very non-musical family. I am the only
opposite.
musician out of my I think my cousin played drums for a little while or something. Like I had a family member who did play drums, and like that might have inspired me in some capacity, but I was 11 years old and I got a guitar just as a birthday gift because I thought Green Day was cool. Might have been the logic there that I thought that like, you know, like pop punk bands or something, because I was a preteen, were cool. But as soon as I got going with that, I was like, this is 100% what I was meant to do. And it encapsulated every facet of my life down to every, like even the school, like schooling. I would, you know, join jazz band, do all the music school stuff I could, or just retain as much of it, and only wanted to do music as much as humanly possible. My family was super cool with it. They just wanted me to be happy and just do whatever, as long as I wasn't really being an idiot, I guess, or you know, messing around or doing stupid stuff. But I mean, there was always that one thing where everybody's there's this funny reoccurring joke that I heard my whole life where everyone would just say, you just got to write a song that'll make it on the radio somehow. You got to make money doing it somehow, which is just a funny notion. But yeah, from day one, I was like, I want to play music. That's my big thing. And I have just specifically done that and done everything in my life to make that my trajectory basically now.
You're doing it right, man. I mean,
yeah.
look where you guys are at this point on your life. Maybe you are not teenagers, but man, you had all your life ahead. And I can tell you, based on my experience with your album, you will have a very, very long career and a very fruitful one, because the music you're doing is amazing, man. I mean, it sounds so fresh, so challenging, and it's fun, man. And metal is supposed to be fun, not just anger or maybe dark. It's supposed to be fun. I had a lot of fun listening to your debut album.
That's like a super important thing we've talked about more than once, is that like, because even as kids, we all grew up listening to stuff that was fun. That was like the whole point. You grow up and you listen to Metallica, and the reason you like it at all is because you're like, this is crazy. This is really cool. I'm having fun listening to it. And there's like so much metal that is just like purposely challenging or like almost upsetting. It's like it's supposed to be confrontational with you, or like make you angry or feel angry. And it's like, sometimes it's just really good for something to like make you laugh. Like if the music is, if you like a riff so much or something so cool that it makes you laugh or makes you feel silly, that can actually be a really good thing.
Yeah, man. I believe that metal has so much layers. It's like an onion, and one can relate to one facet or another, and at the end, it's fun, it's honest, it can be brutal, but it can be also very touching, because I mean, even an aggressive song can give you some love, can give you some good feelings, some pinky feelings, but it's all right. I mean, I think we all metalheads can relate to a bunch of things and drain whatever we want from one song. So it doesn't matter if it's in English or if it's death metal, thrash metal, I know, doom, stoner. It doesn't matter. It's just it has to be with the what kind of place you are at the moment, and what kind of things you want to drag out of every song you are listening. So, guys, I have one more question for you, and this is, what advice would you give to the metalheads and musicians in general who are starting their careers?
Is my advice 100% of the time is you can totally do it. The only thing that's going to stop you is you telling yourself that you can't, and that is just a falsehood. You're totally capable of doing it. Every single human on earth can play music. It is the most wonderful gift that we can give, and it's very, very difficult to get, or easy to get wrapped up in thinking that I'm not cool enough, or I don't look a certain way, or something is too challenging or too hard, or I have all these steps in front of us. And a lot of those barriers are self-imposed or imposed by people who want to make themselves feel more important than you, but nobody is more important than you or your art that you're trying to make.
That's true, man.
And I think the other thing is make the music you want to hear, you know. Try to make your favorite record, you know, make the songs that you want to hear over and over again, and don't be afraid to do something that you don't think anyone else is doing, and don't be afraid of what other people might think about your approach or your riffs. If you're enjoying it and you feel genuine about it and you have a genuine approach to it and you're doing your best, I am very confident that it'll turn out great and it'll be worth it.
Totally, man.
Don't do something if it's not fun. If you're not having fun, don't do it, because
Yeah.
doing it's fun.
Yeah.
It will turn out to be a job.
Yeah.
Nobody likes a job. No one wants
Yeah.
a job.
Yeah, man. I understand totally what you're saying, and I can tell you are having fun while making your music, and that's encouraging because, and that you are saying it just makes it so much true, because these are the words of a musician. These are the words of people that are making it happen. Not just you can relate only in the words in the album, because it's something that maybe you can understand, maybe not. But when the people that are making the art are telling you, this is why I'm doing it, this is where, this is how, well, you can get any better than that.
Totally.
Guys, that's all the questions I have for you. And as we were talking about before the interview, do you have a question for the next band or the next artist that will be in the next interview here in El Hater? Have you thought about it?
I was thinking one about Ryan. What do you got?
Well, mine, I was gonna say,
Can
what do
be
you
two
think?
of them. I can use two.
My question was gonna be, what is your favorite childhood cartoon?
Pretty close to my question, but it was a little more specific.
Okay.
What is your favorite giant robot or giant monster?
Let's do that one. I like that one better.
We will do both, man.
Okay.
Great questions. Actually, I think maybe the next guest I will have in the channel will be the German from Terminalist. So I think they will be able to answer those questions.
Awesome.
So guys, thanks a lot for your time. It will be very fun. I can tell you are very cool people, and I would like to see you come to Mexico very soon, because I think you will blow a hole in the sky.
Oh, we would love to come down and play in your beautiful country. By all means, I hope we can make it happen.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Super fun.
Yeah, man. Hope that happens very soon. And haters, eso es todo lo que tenemos en esta nueva sección, en este nuevo video de Conversaciones desde el Inframundo con nuestros amigos de la banda Colony Drop. Aquí Benjamin, Burton y Ryan Moon. Espero que les haya gustado. Si fue así, no olviden apoyarnos con su like. Escuchen su material de sus fuentes oficiales. Los links para su más reciente álbum, bueno, más bien para su álbum debut titulado Brace for Impact, están en la descripción de la reseña y en la descripción de este video. Entonces vayan a checarlos. Guys, thanks a lot. Have a nice one.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you. Thank you, Mario.